Okay, first let me get this out of the way. This is my dog Bob. Bob is a very old little man, and he may or may not be here throughout the video, so there you go. He's a nice guy. Um, the question that I get asked a lot is, can you use cheaper gear, so to speak, for a professional video? And the answer, of course, is yes. This is the camera that I used on the project that I'm about to show you. This is the A7S III. I've got a 16-35 lens on it, and I also used a 24-105 lens. And you may be asking, well, why the heck did you use that and not use something fancier? I do have some more expensive cameras, but for this project, it just was not the right fit. So let me tell you why it wasn't the right fit, and then we can go show you some of the video stuff. So the first thing is that there was a lot of travel involved and not a lot of time to do all the traveling. So the first thing is with travel, obviously the bigger the equipment, the more it's going to be a hassle to travel with it. There's no way around it. We're going to have to use minimal lighting, minimal gear, minimal everything. The other thing was that we were on a very tight time constraint because every location that we went to, we might film an interview in the morning and then film another interview in the afternoon. And we had to do kind of a whole profile of these people. And this was a project for the wind and solar industry. So we were going to different job sites, and we had just very, very short time to film. Bye, Bob. That being said, I was really trying to figure out how I wanted to look. I wanted, obviously as cinematic as I could make it look, but at the same time, I needed to be as efficient as possible. I had a very small crew. It was me, I had an assistant, and I had the producer working with me. So between us, we didn't have a whole lot of ability to get things done. So what I did was every single time that we interviewed somebody, we had maybe like an hour, hour and a half to do an interview, and then also do some footage, some B-roll footage of them. So I'll kind of go over that as we go through these videos. I've got 3 vignettes that I'm going to show you. And then the other thing was that sometimes we were so restricted on time that we actually interviewed while they were driving a vehicle. So I'd be in the passenger seat while they were driving, and these are all kind of off-road, so we weren't on a freeway or anything like that. It was, it was definitely a safe environment to be filming in. But they would be talking as we asked them questions, and then I'll talk a little bit about the audio as well, because that obviously can be a big concern. We also used drones a little bit. We used the DJI Mavic 3 Pro Cine. That was our primary drone. We had a backup of that drone, and we also had a Mini 4 Pro, just the tiny little guy. And that was all the equipment that we had, except for maybe a little bit of supplemental lighting and some bounce. So without any further ado, I will go through and I will get started with these videos. All right, so here we go. Let's go with, okay, so this is the first video that we did, and this one is in California, and obviously starts with a drone shot. And the woman that we were interviewing, her name was Nikki. She does procurement on the job site. That means she gets things for the people that need it on the job site, whether it's tools or other supplies. That's what she handles. So we, again, we only had about an hour and a half with her to get everything done. So you got the aerial shot here. You can see it was kind of an overcast, cloudy day. And just trying to get just kind of a sense of space. The nice thing is we've got the mountains in the background. This right here, this is the solar array. And then these are, this is battery storage. And this is what they were actually putting in, was the battery storage. So as we go, you'll see coming up, we've got the start of the interview. So I'm going to pause these just real quick, and I'm just going to kind of go over what we did, how we shot it, things like that. So again, shot with the A7S III. I may have brought on the FX3 as well. They're effectively the same camera. And you can kind of see here that so these are the energy storage units, and I needed to find something that was kind of dynamic and relatively quiet. So I wanted to shoot down the line, kind of gives you a nice sense. So again, you're trying to find a way that you can show the place and also kind of the subject that we're talking about. We were talking about energy storage, so that was the big thing. So she's looking a little bit off camera to the producer. The producer is asking the questions. I was doing the filming, had it on a travel tripod. And other than that, we didn't really do any kind of lighting or anything like that. We had this nice overcast day, so we weren't too concerned about the harsh shadows, things like that. It was pretty nice and pretty even. Everything was shot on a log profile and then graded in post. These were all projects that I was actually able to do the post work on as well, so it was kind of nice to be able to to work those out. Didn't really have to do a whole lot in post to get these things done, and we did that. And then we got the B-roll, and the B-roll we shot at 60 frames a second. The interviews at 23.98, and again, the thing is, you know, I do think that 60 frames can get kind of overused, but when you're pressed for time, you don't have a whole lot of B-roll ability. It's a really good way of getting something that's going to expand the time it takes to show some of the video. So again, you know, you want something that's going to kind of cover the interview, also edit points and things like that. So again, with this kind of cloudy, overcast day, we didn't really have to worry too much. I will say that the orange in her vest was really bright, so that was definitely toned down in post a little bit, just to not make it so garish. And then we again, just some traveling in a gator, as they call it, and just her driving around. So again, just trying to find some nice shots. There's a shot with a 16 millimeter 16 to 35 lens at 16 millimeters, so a little bit wide and a little bit of distortion in the edges, but you know, I don't really mind that. It's kind of a, you know, kind of an interesting look. And again, it kind of shows place. Here's a little bit of a tighter shot that we got. I may have done the push in post. Here's a real simple thing to do if you're looking for B-roll. I got these two people to go with her. Basically, they just walked down about halfway down, and then they stopped and they turned around and walked back. So then I've got two different shots that we can use, just something kind of dynamic and interesting. This was really good. The high fives, you know, all this kind of, you know, a little bit of action is a lot of fun. And it was really just, you know, quickly trying to grab, you know, people as they were working, trying to get her to be involved with them and try and get some interaction. Anything you can use to help tell the story, especially when you're very pressed for time like we were. In fact, the other thing we were fighting was the weather, because it actually rained right after we got done with this whole segment. So fortunately, our next segment was filmed indoors, so we didn't have to worry about it. Anyway, and then as far as audio, we used DJI mics. The DJI mic. This is the version 1. It's got 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. Very compact, very small. We did put a wired lav attached in there, because I think that just sounds a little better than just having the DJI mic itself. And also, I don't really like seeing the microphone, especially, you know, it says DJI on it. It's just kind of this black box, and it's just kind of unattractive. I'm not saying it's a bad thing for content creation, but for something like this, you know, you want it to look as nice as possible. Otherwise, no other audio that we used. Sometimes I like to use a boom. Did not use a boom on this. So again, this kind of shows the whole thing, and there you can even see my reflection if you look really close in pixel peep. So that was the first one that we did. Again, that was in California. Then we went to back to Texas. This one here is of a gentleman named Kenny, and Kenny, we had so little time that we only had time to do the interview in the truck, and we didn't even get B-roll of him. So some of the stuff that we shot was on the way with Kenny, and sometimes, in one point, we went on our own and filmed a little bit of B-roll. So again, we're in Texas. This is the area is called Roscoe, the Roscoe Windfarm. And, you know, obviously you just see the cattle here, nothing overly exciting, just trying to get some, again, sense of space, sense of, you know, location. These wind turbines have been around for a long time. And if you're ever in this area of Texas, it is just filled to the brim with wind turbines. I'll show you some shots in a minute where you can really see that. So again, we didn't have a whole lot of time with him, so we decided to do the interview with him in the truck. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up the volume on this, and I'm going to let you listen to what we did. And so obviously when you're interviewing someone in a vehicle, you're going to have the vehicle noise, the vehicle sound. And we took care of that in post, but I'll let you hear it right now.
Looks great. I mean, it's just always evolving. It's like vehicles. They get newer, they get bigger, they get fancier. Same thing with the wind turbine. They get newer, they get bigger. It's just always growing. It's always going to grow. I don't think it'll ever stop growing. It's
So again, the DJI mic with a lav, we kind of hid the microphone on them, which was, you know, easy enough to do. And then in post, using DaVinci Resolve, we cleaned up a lot of the audio, so you can't even hear the truck anymore. So very nice and very clean. And again, this stuff is just amazing, especially when you think that, you know, we've got a small crew. All this stuff is so small, but so much advancement has happened in the last several years. It's just incredible to be able to get the stuff knocked out. One thing you may notice is on the glass right here, and there's another shot before. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit this shot right here. When you see up in the sky, you see a little bit of blotchiness. The next video that I show, you're really going to see it. And this actually comes from the ND filter that was on the A7S III. So having a variable ND or any kind of ND, sometimes you're going to have some artifacting coming on
for the
from the
industry listener.
glass. Let me turn that volume down on him. So you're going to see a little bit of that every once in a while. You know, whenever you're shooting something like this, especially when you have very, very little time, is you got to punt on things. There's, you know, it's not all going to be perfect. It's not going to be everything that you exactly want. And I don't think even if I pointed it out to you that you know, most people aren't really going to pay attention to that or notice it. Sometimes it's more obvious than others. But if you, I'm just basically saying it. So if you're filming and you see something, you're like, oh, okay, I understand what that is. It's from the ND filter. You might be able to roll the window down and do that. This situation that we were in was not a possibility with all the dust and the wind and things like that. This handheld shot, just sitting in the passenger seat, same thing, another handheld shot, passenger seat. And then we got some, you know, again, more of these landscape kind of images. And then this was done with the Mini 4 Pro. So it looks a little bit more grainy than the other shot with the Mavic 3 Pro that we had. But you know, it just kind of shows the scenery. What we did in the morning was right here. This was something before we did the interview with Kenny. We got there, we were getting this early morning sunlight. It was looking beautiful. I grabbed the drone, just took it up in the air and just started flying. And I probably spent about 15 minutes just getting the stuff shot. The cool thing with this, you can kind of see here again, as you look on the horizon, all these are wind turbines right here. It's just massive how much there is there. This was shot with the Mavic 3 Pro Cine's 70mm lens, so the long lens on here gives a nice kind of parallax look, and it's just a very dynamic look. I mean, it's so bold. The client was really happy with this kind of look. And then here, this is just kind of luck. The guy is talking about, Kenny's talking about his favorite office is up on the tower. We happen to have a tower right there in the background as he was going. So again, I'm going to let you hear what he's saying. It's just kind of cool. Sometimes these little things just kind of work out.
You get up in the morning and the best view from the office was, you know, 280 feet up in the air, especially on a nice summer day.
And then again, we cut right to this shot right here, which I really like a lot. Again, on the tight lens on the drone, we could get right up in there. It was very safe for us to be there, safe for this gentleman that was up on top of the wind turbine. You can see he's locked off there, and you get this nice parallax. You get this nice parallax, and this one I really like this shot a lot. Just really great to be able to see him in the foreground, this other wind turbine in the background, and then you've got the gradations of the light off in the distance there. So again, early morning. This was this is right after the sun was up, and even that, just the within the vehicle, we just had the natural light that was shining on him. So we didn't really have any kind of supplemental lighting on him at all. So anyway, and then the next video, let's get that going here, is going to be this one. This is Justin. Justin's also in the Roscoe Windfarm. He's with a different company called RWE. And again, just the starting shot is just out of the passenger side, riding with him, showing kind of a sense of place. So we did do, this one was an interior interview, mainly because it was dark outside when we were getting started, and it was very cold. This was just in a garage that they had. We pulled in a vehicle. And a lot of times, you don't really get a chance to even scout these things until you're there. So this is what we found. It was a decent location. If I'm being critical of myself, I feel like I may have been a little bit overlit, but I didn't want it to be too dramatic. We had some lighting that was part of the building in the background, and I matched the key lighting, which was an Amaran 200X, to the interior light, just to make sure it wasn't too weird of a color contrast. And so we got his interview done, the same thing, using the DJI microphone, and then just these various shots that were out in the field. So Justin works where when the energy gets sent, it gets sent to kind of a power distribution area, and then from there it goes onto the grid, and he's there to do maintenance for that. This is just some more B-roll shots that we did with the drone. We just took it out quite a distance just to really get a sense of the scale of the place and where we are. Another shot, one of these kind of things, I wasn't a big fan of the location. It's not the most attractive. You can see right here the ceiling. And these guys are just having an early morning meeting. We needed something. We needed something to have all the people, that work on the job site have their morning meeting. So sometimes, again, you don't always have the opportunity to get the best looking place. You just have to work with what you've got. If you have more time, then maybe you can dress it up some more. We just used the available lighting and didn't do anything else with it. And I'm going to go a little bit more through this right here. Another one of the drone shots with the Mavic 3 Pro Cine. And then we went over to a school nearby, and this company invests into the high school. And, it's a small community, but most of the kids that go to the school there, they have family that work in the wind farms over here in Roscoe. And so it was kind of a neat experience to be there. And what was really fun was that the kids they have a drone class there, so they're learning how to fly drones, which is what these guys are doing. You can see they got a controller here. This one's got a controller too. So I was kind of showing them some of the stuff that I'd already filmed, and then I took my drone up while they were taking theirs up, and I think I let them fly one of my drones as well. So it was it's kind of a fun thing to do. And then what we did is we actually incorporated the shots that they got. This one right here. And then there's another one of the town of Roscoe right here. Another thing that they shot, and I just thought it was kind of fun, to use their footage in the video. And they got a big kick out of having that in there. And then we did another, again, kind of segment, 60 frames a second. Like I said before, it just helps, stretch out the time. Here again, you can kind of see in the window, you see this kind of discoloration, and you see this right here. Sometimes you'll notice that if you wear like polarized glasses, if you're wearing polarized sunglasses in your vehicle, you'll see this on the side windows too. It's the same kind of thing. So again, not much you can do about it. And then right here, we were at one of these power distribution stations, and we did this vehicle-to-vehicle shot real quick, and we did this like 2 or 3 times just to kind of get that knocked out. And then we did some shots of him, so we did 2 or 3 different versions of him walking up to the gate and then going inside. Again, just to kind of tell a little bit of a story. Clearly, I was just on the inside here, letting him walk towards the camera, and nothing super exciting about it, but we're trying to tell the story, trying to show a sense of place, and we have an hour and a half to get it all knocked out. So that's what you get. Anyway, I hope that you like to see these things, and if they were helpful, that's wonderful. That's what I'm here for. Hopefully that's something that you found interesting, that you got a little bit of something out of. And again, I'm trying to make some more videos that are like this. I'm just trying to show, how do I show behind the scenes with things that I've already shot, because a lot of these kind of projects, I don't have the time, I don't have the manpower to go and film everything while I'm doing it and show you all the different things that I'm doing. I'm trying to find ways to kind of develop that a little bit so I can share a little bit more with you. And this is something that this is the thing I feel like has been lacking on YouTube, because a lot of the people out there are kind of content creators. They might show you how to use, a lighting. And they all have these kind of scenarios that are built kind of in a classroom setting. This is the real world. These are real projects, and these are real projects that I work on, that I get paid for, and that my crew gets paid for. And that's what I'm trying to share with you. So if there's anything in that realm that you're curious about, if you have any questions for me about how I do this kind of stuff, then please, leave a comment for me. And also, same thing, if you got some constructive criticism, let me know what you think about that. And otherwise, I'll look forward to making some more of these videos and sharing them with you. All right, thanks, take care.